Questers, spread some love. What's going on, everybody? My name is Tony Gapastone. I'm one of the co-pastors of the Quest. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a Caucasian man wearing some glasses and a black hat, and I'm in my studio at my house tonight. And we're going to just take a couple of minutes to get to know my friend and this Saturday's live performance actor doing her one-woman show in the building at the Quest, only in person, not going to be streaming online. So come get your tickets. I will put the link in the chat so you can buy your tickets tonight. But everybody, welcome Theresa Donahoe, everybody. Hey, Theresa.
Hi.
Introduce yourself to everybody.
I am Theresa Donahoe. She, her. I am a very fair-skinned Latina woman, like really extra fair right now.
Those of you who need some visual assistance, she is in front of a light that looks like she's staring into the sun. No, just kidding. Well, Theresa and I go way back. I met her in a casting office in San Francisco. We have been in many a short film together, done many projects before, and I've loved following her career, and I love calling her a friend. She has been doing these one-woman shows, writing her own, stories and putting them into these cool fringe festivals and workshopping them with friends. And now she has this new one coming out called Born Again in Berkeley. So what can people expect on Saturday night at 6:30 p.m. when they come to the Quest? What's it going to be like?
You'll expect a 58-minute autobiographical dramedy about my, I guess you would say, faith journey, I guess. And it's the beginning of it. It's almost two shows in one. The first 15 minutes are about first impressions of moving to the Berkeley area, simply from the other side of the Caldecott Tunnel. It's all Bay Area, but in the Bay Area, we have these microcultures. And I grew up in a more conservative part of the Bay Area. And then I moved over into the Oakland, Berkeley neighborhood and had some culture shock. So I talk about that and as being a Christian in Berkeley. And then further into the show, I talk about my past. I used to attend a rather controversial Christian church in Concord, California. And so I delve into that.
Cool. So if you're just tuning in or watching on the replay, in the chat is a link, Born Again Berkeley Quest.eventbrite.com. You can get your tickets and encourage you to be generous. They're by donation only, and 70% of it's going right back to Theresa. So we want to support her. And if you show up, we are using the other half of the money, or the other 30% of the money, to buy some wine and some dessert and some appetizers. So come, it's going to be a great night. So you talk about microcultures, you talk about your faith journey, you talk about conservative churches. Can you give, without spoiling anything, some of the stories you're going to tell? They're adult, by the way, right? They're for people 18 and older, or mature 17-year-old. I don't know.
That would be wise. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. They deal with what? What kind of things are a part of like intersecting into these stories that you're performing on Saturday night?
I do go into politics a bit, and I don't know how to say without giving it away.
Yeah. Well, you just talked about your faith, kind of your journey of faith. We at the Quest do talk a lot about how we are making our way through the world. We're making sense of it. We're unlearning maybe things that have been taught to us in the past. There's a very buzzy word called deconstruction. Would you say that part of your story is sort of that, like reconciling maybe things from your past that you've been taught or that you believed and now are changed? What does that look like?
Right. Definitely. Reconciliation is the word that pops into my mind. I wasn't raised in the church.
Okay.
So, I'm not deconstructing from my childhood, but I am deconstructing from when I became a Christian at 18 years old and some of the things that I was taught. So yeah, I guess you could say that, it was I was raised, somewhat sheltered. maybe not compared to some other people, but I just where I grew up is all that I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved, and you just start hearing, you start getting to know people, I guess is what I should say. You get to know people and hear their stories, hear about their faith journeys, and God gets bigger.
Mm. Yep, I love that.
And I think for me, I moved to Oakland, and God got bigger for me. But I felt liberated. And so, yeah, I talk about that culture shock. First, I talk about culture shock. And then I start to adapt. And then, because I wasn't raised in the church, I'm pretty comfortable around people who aren't Christians or even people of faith. I'm actually very comfortable around that. I consider myself I would call myself a relational evangelist,
Mm-hmm.
and that I build friendships with people and I just get to know them. And that's how I share my faith. And so over time, building relationships with people in Oakland and Berkeley, that has made, like I said before, it's made God bigger to me. So I delve into that.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I would say my time at the Quest has helped me see God in a bigger way, right? Maybe even I just have a bigger box for God now than I had before, because it could
Right.
be ever fully contain God. God's going to continually be expanding as I continue to grow and evolve and age in some way. Let's talk about the concept of a one woman show. Some people might have a kind of idea in their mind what they're going to get when they show up for this 58-minute show with wine and appetizers. But what do you want people to know to expect? Because it's not it's not like stand-up comedy.
Right.
It's storytelling in a unique fashion. So can you explain that a little bit?
Correct. It's not stand-up comedy. Uh, it's not a straight comedy either. I'm an actor, so it's more theatrical, and I play different characters. But I also talk to the audience. So I would say it is maybe half storytelling and then half acting in scenes. So sometimes it's me, sometimes I become another character. I mix
I,
it up.
I like that. Yeah, and I've seen you do these things many times, and you did a video for us that we showed on Sunday in our service, and you step to one side and then you talk and then you step to the other side, kind of communicating there's a unique separation in these two conversations that are having. So that's kind of cool. Nature is in the comments asking about the mature audience warning thing. So Nature, you might have come a little bit late, but we were talking about just talk about politics. But what other ways would you want to describe that for a mature audience, Theresa, so that people would understand? Is there swearing? Is there expletives? Is there nudity? I mean, all that kind of stuff. Maybe you want to be clear about that for people that watch.
There's no profanity.
Cool.
There's no visual nudity, but it is disgust.
Nudity is disgust. So,
but only briefly.
Okay.
So it's a mature theme, but you won't see anything. So that's just what I mean.
Cool. Awesome. Well, for Saturday night, the doors will open at 6 p.m. and
Okay.
the show will start promptly at 6:30. So come a half an hour early or anytime up at that. There's gonna be round tables. You can bring bring some friends, bring some neighbors. Again, Matt has said he's dying in the comments. Nudity is disgust. You can get your tickets at bornagainberkeleyquest.eventbrite.com. 70% of all the tickets donations go back to Theresa, and the rest are going to go to buying the food and the wine. So last question, Theresa, you have done a show called Cat Nanny 911, which I loved, right? Late Bloomer was another title of your show. Confessions of a White Mexican. Now, I've been saying this, I didn't even have to research this because I know I have been to these. Now, and then, am I missing one? And then, is it Born Again in Berkeley, or did I have? Is there one
I've done more. I've done like Desperately Seeking Madonna Ho.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. But you have traveled, you were just in Fresno doing this at the Fringe Festival. You were traveling around with this. Like this has been like a lifelong thing, not lifelong, but you've been doing it for the past decade at least, writing and producing and developing these shows. So what's the future hope? Last question, as a performer, as well as a person of faith, what's kind of the hope with this? Is it just because it's fun and it's life-giving? But is there any kind of like future aspirations you have with this work that you're doing?
Well, I would love to take it on the road, but what I need is an audience, and
Mhm,
I'm trying to find who my audience is.
mhm,
That's because I could book all these fringe festivals but nobody knows who I am.
mhm.
But I would love to take it on the road. So the dream is to build up enough of an audience that, yeah, I can travel with it. That's what I want to do.
Love it. Love it. Well, please come on Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. Again, live only in person. We are not live streaming this to our YouTube or Facebook channels. Theresa Donahoe, one woman show, born again in Berkeley. Get your tickets, bring a friend, and maybe, just maybe, if you're in the Bay Area anywhere from Berkeley to Oakland to Marin County, maybe you come and then you invite Theresa to come to your church building or your school or your
There
community
you
center so
go.
that she can travel, support live
Yes.
theater, support actors, just like Theresa. This is great. Thanks, Theresa. Where do you want people to connect with you on the interweb so that they can find you, support you, follow you, build that audience? Where are you located on the interwebs?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can literally just Google my name, Theresa Donahoe. They should all pop up, but also it's at tbabe29.
T-Babe, T-Babe, T-Babe. I will put that in the chat so those of you who are watching on the replay or live can give her a follow like right now, okay? Give a follow to T-Babe, Theresa Donahoe, one woman show, born again in Berkeley. Thanks, Theresa, for coming on. Thanks for being a cool person in the Bay Area. I'm so glad you're coming to our church. And Theresa comes online to the Quest on Sunday mornings. It's so cool. And I don't think you've been to the building ever before. So this will be
I
your
know
first time.
this will be my first time.
This is the coolest thing. This is what I love about our church. What I love about the pandemic is that people are connected in more ways than just geography. So yeah, glad this is gonna be your first time. Glad we could support you in this way, and excited to see your work here.
Thank
All
you
right,
for having me.
you got it. All right, see you on Saturday. Bye.
Bye.